Welcome to Nova Writing Pearls Anthology Edition podcast. Hi, I'm Julija Krstevska, the fiction editor of all published Nova Writing Pearls, and your host in this podcast, which celebrates a selection of a decade's work of captivating short stories and pensive verses creatively embroidered by Nova students. This collection reflects their commitment to nurturing authentic voices and embracing creative self-expression, rich in identity, imagination, and introspection. The anthology explores themes such as self-worth, cultural heritage, and the passage of time. The literary works blend adventure, science, human connections, and they do highlight the interplay between the personal and the global. The pieces encourage readers to embrace individuality while looking forward, rooting in an understanding of the past. Artwork included further reinforces the belief that excellence is both possible and within reach. As a testament to student creativity, the anthology transcends the classroom, aiming to inspire others to write, to reflect, and to engage with literature. It stands as a powerful celebration of storytelling, cultural awareness, and the enduring value of literacy. Nova English Language and Literature teachers Miss Elena Daudovsky, Miss Gergana Jokic, Miss Jelena Nikodinovska, and Miss Anastasia Gyorshevska, as well as Nova Macedonian Language and Literature teachers Miss Tatiana Eftimovska and Mr. Dushko Krstevski, wrote insightful and genuine critical reviews on the short stories that impressed them the most. Let's listen to them.
Consternation by Luna Meles is a poignant and emotional short story that captures the complexities of adolescence with remarkable sensitivity. The narrative delves into themes of isolation, betrayal, and emotional turmoil, all conveyed through the deeply personal perspective of the protagonist. The transitions from the realistic school environment to the symbolic journey up the mountain are seamless, reflecting the character's inner turmoil and desire to escape. The encounter with the wolf is most vivid in recollection. It serves as a powerful metaphor for fear, strength, and perhaps the unknown aspects of the self. Melo's use of imagery, such as the red-haired teacher with cherry-colored hair, provides a dreamlike quality that is both a complement to and a contrast with the unadulterated emotion of the schoolroom scenes. The dialogue, though sparse, is impactful. The single-word response, vindictive, renders a world of feeling in one breath. Overall, the story stands out for its emotional authenticity, vivid description, and symbolic richness. Meles succeeds in drawing the reader into the protagonist's internal world while maintaining a compelling narrative thread. It is a touching and memorable exploration of what it means to feel alone, misunderstood, and ultimately resilient.
What is Beauty? An intimate conversation with Annalie. What is Beauty is a genuine and pure-hearted poem that unveils the wonderful and sensitive world created by the young author Annalie. The poem explores the concept of beauty, a subject that has captivated artists and thinkers alike, and reflects a deeply personal perspective on the question. What is beauty shares experiences, thoughts, and insights, and thereby turns this piece of work into an intimate confession. The author thus provides a seemingly simple, yet totally comprehensive answer to the sense of beauty. In the opening stanza, the poet plainly and firmly states that beauty is subjective. This statement directly invites the reader to enter the poet's youthful world, made up of cherished moments, meaningful events, and lovely experiences. The lines that follow this kind invitation walk the reader through the magical banalities of life, captured by the young poet, which show that one can find beauty everywhere if only one has an eye for it. Indeed, Annalie certainly has an eye for beauty, which leads her subject to cherish the companionship of her cat, relish the stormy nights spent studying with friends, and admire the enchanting glow of the city night lights. The poem is structured in 6 stanzas, each of them ending with a repetitive pattern others may not, which emphasizes that beauty is unique to every person, and what they find beautiful is beautiful to them. This stated plainly and firmly, much like the line beauty is subjective, and carries the same message, creating a synthesis between the beginning of the poem and the end of each stanza. The tone is gentle and easygoing, setting a mood reminiscent of a tete-a-tete with a childhood long not seen friend. This intimate tone effectively contributes to the central theme of the text, that beauty is a personal experience. Concluding with the line, I find beauty in myself, followed by the rhythmic, others may not, the work culminates, showing that previous stanzas were a build-up to this one all-encompassing point. The ending note contextualizes the poem. The subject finds beauty in all the aforementioned aspects of life precisely because they find beauty in themselves and acknowledge that that is all they need to answer the question. Beauty is everywhere if one finds it in themselves, regardless of the opinion of others. In conclusion, knowing Annalie personally, I can perfectly recognize her reflection in these lines, much like her subject recognizes their reflection in the mirror its beauty. Her joyful life radiates through the poem and raps on the reader in a way in which they would walk away from the text appreciating the warm glow of sun or perhaps the rhythmic tapping of rain.
A Look Inside Saint-Rocher's The Cycle, a short story about the vicious cycle of eating disorders. I will begin by quoting one of the most effective lines from the short story. She wants to eat her feelings, hoping the food is going to overpower them. The more she eats, the more she regrets it. The more she regrets it, the sadder she gets. But the sadder she gets, the more she wants to eat. She doesn't understand that food won't fill the emptiness she has felt these past weeks. Not only does this quote encapsulate the gist of the story, but it illustrates with such a precision the vicious cycle people suffering from an eating disorder are trapped in. Our relationships with people, places, and things undeniably reflect our innermost desires, necessities, and conflicts. The girl's unhealthy relationship with food is merely an extension of her broken relationship with her mother, which ultimately leads to an unhealthy relationship with herself, characterized by self-hatred, self-denial, low self-esteem, as evidenced by her oversleeping habits, self-starvation, and hiding from the world, all of which are typical signs of escapism. What I particularly liked and found quite innovative and original about the short story is that the writer decided to set the eating disorder as the narrating I. Usually, we tend to vilify and demonize the disorders. However, here we get a sense that the disorder is much more humane and empathetic towards the young girl than her mother is. The disorder makes an attempt to leave her body, yet the mother's food judgment and body focused language and the repetitive, "you're gaining a little weight," makes this practically impossible. The short story highlights, or more specifically, warns against the effects that the family, friends, or immediate social circle can have into developing and fueling an eating disorder. The constant strive to meet societal expectations undeniably lead to anxiety, stress, depression, all of which can result into developing an eating disorder. Hence, it is our responsibility as parents, siblings, and friends to not ignore the changes in someone's behavior and appearance, but rather to acknowledge them and help them by providing them with the necessary emotional and professional care.
Ticking of the Clock is an amusing story that plays with your expectations. You read and think to yourself, oh, a story about survival, maybe Hunger Games inspired, to be then faced with the challenge of collecting apples. A William Tell modern retelling, maybe? You witness the main character's dexterity and determination, the manner in which she calmly accepts defeat, and you're left wondering. To be ultimately transported to a mundane landscape of virtual apples and teenage distractions. The story's mix of earnest gameplay description and dry classroom reality delivers an entertaining and surprisingly layered vignette.
Both stories by Krystyna Juszewska give the impression that they are fragments of larger works, perhaps novels or longer multi-part stories. They center on sensitive and profound female characters whose intelligence and analytical skills are unmistakable. The stories also incorporate historical elements, or are presented as such, which add depth and complexity, making Krystyna's fiction more layered and engaging. Interestingly, both stories revolve around opposing themes such as immortality and death. As humans, regardless of the side we lean toward, it seems that immortality finds its true expression only through literature or art. A salute to Krystyna's writing, with the hope that she will further develop her already strong voice in literature.
Julija Krstevska, in his own words. In the prose of Zofia Popowska, the layers of meaning and symbolism reveal a remarkably well-educated writer who is unafraid to begin her stories directly in medias res, placing the reader immediately into the heart of the narrative turmoil. She is fully aware that the contemporary reader seeks immediacy, here and now, which is why her storytelling demands maximum structure, plot, and impact within a minimal space. Zofia Popowska's literary talent was evident from her earliest student years, consistently earning praise for both the depth and originality of her work. As her teacher in Macedonian language and literature, I was particularly struck by her ability to craft extensive essays enriched with sophisticated analysis of poetry and prose. Her insight into the symbolic and thematic dimensions of literature surpassed expectations for her age and academic level. The story, Schrodinger's Girl, opens in a seemingly mysterious atmosphere where a girl's journey gradually unfolds into an exchange of parallel worlds and diabolical hints. Every word is carefully chosen and functions as an essential element in the unfolding events. Far from being mere empty narration, Sophia constructs a world where the atmosphere is at times both fantastical and realistic. Although written by a 17-year-old student, this story reveals the voice of a narrator with extensive literary knowledge, some acquired through formal study and some through personal curiosity and selective reading. Schrodinger's girl undoubtedly brings something fresh and refined to contemporary Macedonian literature, despite being written in English.